So, of course, you guessed I'm going to talk about the Holy Spirit. And I have actually stories to tell you. But first, I want to read you a couple of verses. And this is from New Revised Version, the updated one, because that's my favorite English one. It's from John 14, 16 and 17. And I will ask the Father, and he will give you another advocate to be with you forever. This is the Spirit of truth, whom the world cannot receive, because it neither sees him nor knows him. You know him because he abides with you, and he will be in you. And again, the 26 and 27. But the advocate, the Holy Spirit, whom the Father will send in my name, will teach you everything and remind you of all that I have said to you. Peace I leave with you, my peace I give to you. I do not give to you as the world gives. Do not let your hearts be troubled, and do not let them be afraid. So yesterday we had stories about the loneliness. And sometimes when we hear the stories of the lonely people around, and like now with Turkey and Syria, what's happened, it feels like we can't do anything about it. It's out of our hands to fix anything. We want to, right? But we can't. But Holy Spirit, and why God actually gave us the Holy Spirit, is one of the reasons that we understand that we can't fix everything. He can. He's going to use us one way or the other in a bigger picture, in a bigger puzzle. I love puzzles a lot. And you sometimes don't see the full picture when you are the small puzzle. So I have a couple of stories to tell you. Like, of course, they say that these are anecdotal stories. But when we talk about God, these are the stories that will tell you how exactly God works and uses us. How Holy Spirit is there to guide us in different situations, even when we don't see the bigger picture. Some of you might know that I love going to a rock festival. In Hungary, we've had a rock festival mission for over 20 years in one of the biggest European rock festivals, longest, biggest, whatever. And we work during the nights, opening a tent, having tea for people who want to get liquids other than alcohol to sit down, because they are walking the whole day throughout the big island next to in Donau, the river, one of the islands in there. And they're very tired, they're very dehydrated, they have conflicts with their friends because it's end of the summer. So they've gone through all the festivals starting from here, going through the whole continent and ending up in Hungary. So they have conflicts. Now they get to have a peaceful tent from the noise, away from the noise, away from the dust, getting clearing of the throat, drinking the tea. So throughout the week, during the nights, we hear different stories, we hear different questions. We meet different people throughout the whole globe, actually. We are playing a bingo. Who gets a bingo from different parts of the world and gets a chocolate or something. Anyway, so one time I got two guys from Holland, from Netherlands. They came because we have this light thing that has a Bible and a cross. Everybody knows who we are. We're Christians. Many of them come and they joke about that, which is quite natural. They come in, I invite them in and say, you can come in and I could give you the tea. We can talk about anything or not talk about anything. And of course, they start asking the questions because of the cross and the Bible, and they ask why I believe in God and all that kind of stuff. So I answer their questions one by one by one. We talked about 1.5 hours. Usually we try to keep it shorter than that, but they kept asking the questions. What happens? They were not interested in religious stuff. They came as mockery to the tent. That was why they came in, to mock me and my faith. But I was just honest, asking their questions and saying if I didn't know, I didn't know, and everything like that. Very personal, for me, the questions. 3 nights later, they come back. Now the questions are not about my faith or my relationship with God. They want to know, how can they have the same? 3 nights. Who works like that? Holy Spirit. You can't say that I did anything. You can't say that some miracle happened because of my words. That's the Holy Spirit speaking to them. I spoke them 3 times that week, especially the other one. I don't know what's happened to them after that. It happened before the virus. I don't know what happened to them. I keep praying. I will not know. Maybe in heaven I will know what happened. But I don't need to stress about that. Holy Spirit has taken them underneath his wing. Then another thing that tells you, this is a story of the whole thing that happened. We can see the end result. It happened once we had these EPCs in Netherlands. And we came with a bus from Finland. That time I was working in Finland. We came with a bus. I didn't hear about this story until a couple of years later from Timo Flink. Some of you might know him. He's the Hope Channel director, the media house director. He's actually a very good theologian. He has one special gift from Holy Spirit, discernment. It's a very strong in him, and it's reliable. It's one of those gifts that you do not want to have. It's a gift that is hard to handle, but he has that gift. On the way back from Netherlands, from EPC, we have to go by boat from Sweden to Finland. And it's 10 hours long, so we sleep, of course. It's nicer to travel by sleeping. So we all sleep. During the night, around 2 o'clock at night, he wakes up. Timo wakes up. And he gets a very strong inclination that there's somebody on this ship who wants to kill themselves. Satan is attacking that person. Ellen G. White actually writes about this, that when somebody is thinking suicide, Satan will go after that person. When you are depressed, Satan will attack. He is going to be there. He has the gift of discernment, Timo. So he started praying protection for the person. He's trying to keep Satan away from that person who has suicidal thoughts. He keeps doing that. He prays for a couple of hours. Then he understands it's time to go back to bed. He's had his prayer of protection. That's it. He goes to bed. In the morning, goes to the breakfast table and sits there, picks his food, and another pastor comes in. Pastor who has a gift of prayer. And he's at fault, actually, because he prayed Robert as a husband for me. That's another story. You can come and ask for it. But he is the person when we have pastoral meeting that comes. Now we have to pray for this and this. We have to pray for this and this. And it's like, come on, why now? In the middle of everything, we just have to. And his prayers always work. He knows where to focus. He's really, really good. Year after year after year, and it's getting stronger, his gift. So anyway, he comes to the breakfast table and talks to Timo and says, you know what happened to me at 2 o'clock at night? I woke up and I had to pray strength for you, for Timo. I don't know why. I was praying strength for you for 2 hours during that night. We have 2 pastors that night. One is praying that Satan is kept away from a person who wants to kill themselves. One is praying strength for the first one who's praying. Now a 3rd pastor comes in. The pastor who has a counseling gift. I'm very envious of that because it brings lots of patience and wisdom for pastor. He's very good at counseling. And he comes to the table and says, do you know what happened to me last night? I woke up just before 2 o'clock. I couldn't sleep. I had to go and walk outside. You know, the ships in Finland that goes from Sweden to Finland, they're big ones like cruise ships in Caribbean. You know, 12, 13-story, enormous ships, cruise ships. They're very big. He went for a walk up there and he met a man who was in the back of the ship looking over the railing. He was thinking of killing himself. So our third pastor was talking there with him. For a couple of hours, they talked and talked and talked. And in the end, he had the privilege of taking that man back to his cabin to sleep. 3 people, all of them their specific gifts, all of them utterly different from each other. They just happen to be pastors. That's an irrelevant thing. God used those 3 persons to help one man. They all there had their place in the bigger puzzle. And together with Holy Spirit, they saved one man. This is a very unique story, and it's a true one, that we actually know what happened. What are the pieces? But usually we don't see that. Don't forget it, no matter what you're preparing for today, for the field, there is a place for your work in a bigger picture. Don't forget, you have a place in God's puzzle.